Hello, big, beautiful world. Today, I think I'll surprise you. I won't really, will I? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, it's the F-13, just dropped. Today it's the local legend, and I am digging it. I am digging it, as you might have guessed if you followed any of the other videos. All aluminium and creosote, and gosh golly, it looks good. You got the interior there, the enclosed cabin for 4. You got the weird ass rudder on the back there. Very, very cool. Looks very good. I am jolly well impressed. It dropped today along with the freeware. I think it's a Cologne update. Dusseldorf or Cologne? One or the other. Cologne. I'll go with Cologne. We're taking off out of Dessau, which is entirely befitting given that this is the home of the Junkers factory. We're taking off in the Elbe River, which is entirely not befitting because technically the Elbe wasn't part of the factory. Let's hop in, take her up, see what we think. That's if I can start it. So I am. Okay, so let me have a squeeze. Right, cool. I'm guessing, so this is a Mercedes in line, I think. That's our fuel pump. Or at least our fuel cock. Mags, by the look of things, yeah, I'll go with that. M1, M2, where's config? Hang on. Yeah, I'll go with that. In the grand tradition of what, ladies and gentlemen? Flying it like we stole it. Have we got fuel? I don't know, let's try it. I think this is our starter. Oh, hang on. Other way, other way. Other way, gooseberry. Is that it? I'll live with that. I will live with that. Alright, let's, I don't know, see if we can get off the water. It's going to be tricky. I've not taken off in one of these puppies, so I've got no idea what it's capable of. Alright, so, oh, lovely. I'll work with that, that's good. So, as mentioned, this is a seaplane variant, or the floatplane variant, and I am jolly well impressed. Junkers traditionally, you know, came in these vibrant colours of natural alloy and black, and that's what you get. That's really what you get. Not exactly the greatest sightseeing aircraft. Hey man, look at me. But hey. But there you go. I dig it. Like the Junkers, the 52 as well. It's jolly impressive. Actually, it's kind of nimble. I mean, you know, this is 1919. I think May or June 1919. 6 or 7 months after the end of World War I, this sucker first flew. Technically, I can't honestly say if it flew out of Dessau or not, but I'm going to say that it did. The company, for all of you Wikipedia junkies or Google junkies, they called it the F-13, not the Ju-13, like we would later come to know a lot of the famous Junkers aircraft. And actually, throughout World War I, we knew it. Did we know it as the Ju-1? I think we did, or maybe the JD-1 or something like that, something like Junkers. I'm guessing. Yeah, this is really nice. It feels good, and one of the weird things is, as you can see, it's an open cockpit, like a lot of with the Batman eyebrows and, you know, the Batman hood over the cockpit, and the enclosed, and the enclosed cabin for the passengers, for the comfort of the passengers. These things flew all over the world. Britain had a few, most South American nations had a few, most European nations had a few very, very popular aircraft, and quite remarkably so, given that they would technically, with the Treaty of Versailles, you know, they weren't allowed to have any kind of air force or any great aircraft production. So I think they ended up shipping the bulk of it off to the Russians, who did used to call it the Ju-13, not the F-13. But you know, because they could build it, have their production lineups in Russia, and these things must hold some kind of record of sorts, because they actually flew, like I said, from. It is kind of immersive. I really I must have like the Donny of Aaaaaand. I really like flying these suckers. This is wonderful. God damn, it's great. Look at that. That's so cool. Alright. Yeah, like the Donny of Aaaaaand with that open cockpit and the Savoia Marchetti as well. You know, very, very sweet. So this is Dessau, the city of Dessau. And it looks pretty good. In that kind of probably generic government building kind of way. Yeah, so this must hold a record of some kind for being one of the longest flying aircraft in the world. And what do I mean by that? Well, I will tell you, ladies and gentlemen. So I started flying, it initially flew in mid-1919, and it's still flying now. Well, technically that's a bit of a fib. It flew, I think they stopped production late 30s, 37, 38 maybe. But what's really interesting is that the Rimowa company, Rimowa Luggage company, one of those fancy luggage companies out of Germany, commissioned that, started them being rebuilt to celebrate 100 years of it. Now, it's an odd thing. I'm not sure for the reasons why. Is there a family tie between the Rimowa crew and Hugo Junkers and co? I've got no idea. That being said, they commissioned in 1919 a handful of these to be rebuilt, and they're still in the process of being rebuilt and flown around the world now. Well, maybe not flown around the world, but certainly flown now. So technically they are a reissue from the past 3 years, but they, you know, if that isn't testimony to a man-made creation that left its mark, they've resurrected it for its centenary. That is kind of impressive as far as I'm concerned. There is one thing. If you get both the land version, in fact I think you get I want to say three versions. You definitely get the land version and this floatplane version. You see a lot of famous shots. This is a favourite aircraft for flying up and down the Amazon and elsewhere. It was very reliable with postal services around the world in the 20s and 30s. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, the one thing that did strike me as a little bit weird, and I'm not going to complain, for 22 bucks, you know, it's Carinado type quality, or certainly a Sobo type quality, and that either pisses some people off or it gets them all excited. I tend to be in the latter category. Like I say, I mean, with FS Realistic Probe and stuff bobbing around, it just makes it all worthwhile. And does it take me there like sticking your head out of an open biplane, open cockpit biplane? No, it doesn't. But nothing in this sim is going to work that way. It's just not functioning that way. Maybe one day. But yeah, with the radial engine, which is a Wright Cyclone? I think it's a Wright Cyclone. Or BMW under license, I guess, technically. But the cowling looks a little bit slightly misshapen for me, because I'm pretty sure it wasn't a copy of the NACA cowling. It predated the famous NACA cowling that bedecked so many American aircraft, and then aircraft around the world actually. I think the Brits had their own under license NACA kind of version, and this predated the NACA license cowling, but still it kind of looks a little too on the on the, let's take the right, that side, on the, you know, on the broad side. But what do we got? I haven't really even taken all this in. I'm still sort of drinking it in. Nice and simple. Nice and simple layout. Seat of your pants stuff, ladies and gentlemen. It's just really freaking cool. And I didn't know it was going to drop. I don't know who did, but I'm glad it did. It may become something of a favourite, like the Yonkers 52, of course. And yeah, I'm a sucker for a float plane. The the Mallard and the Goose, or no, the Gosling and the Goose. What else we got? Speaking of which, the Grummins, I see the 40th anniversary trailers have been dropping this week, and we get everything from the HK1, the Hughes Kaiser 1, the Spruce Goose, right back to a Jenny with an open cockpit showing the Liberty engine. What surprised me though was, I'm sure I saw a Goose or a Mallard. I'm going to go with a Goose in there. I didn't pay too much attention, but I find it strange that they're going to release a Goose, because we've got those excellent freeware Gooses. We've got the Goose Redux. And forgive me, I forget the team or the individual who designed it, but it's a magnificent beastie to get around in. Now we've got the Catalina dropped this week, or again, forgive me to the French team for not recalling your name, but yeah, the graphics aren't PBR yet, but I understand they're working on it. But the overall shape of the Catalina, and from the look of the behaviour that I've been seeing up on here in YouTube land, the flight characteristics are pretty much spot on. Now I've got to confess, I'll get around to it when I fly it, but the Cat's probably my #1 favourite aircraft in the world, has been since childhood. It's partially because, actually I have no real idea, I wasn't necessarily a kid when I learnt that my uncle was the navigator on one, and he ran with some of the famous well, I think it was only technically, it was top secret at the time, but released after the war, flying from a suburb out of Perth on the Swan River all the way up to Sri Lanka to do special reconnaissance and operations and mail delivery in heavily modified Catalinas. I think we had the Black Cats in the RAAF as well, doing search ASR, you know, ASR, air, sea and rescue, search and rescue. But yeah, the Catalina from the French mob, if I think of it, I'll leave a link. If not, you can search MSFS2020 Catalina, and you'll see it up there. But yeah, just going back to the aircraft we saw it in the 40th anniversary trailer, remembering the right flight, we've got the cavalry, the gimbal cavalry helicopter. It looks like not the H-45. What's the other chopper that's looking good in there at the moment? Looks like a Bell of some kind. The HK1, the Spruce Goose, like I said, the DC-3. There's a slew of aircraft coming, but my beautiful friends, the one thing I noticed, there wasn't one of my favourite aircraft from, I'm pretty sure it was FSX, the DH-88 Comet, the Havilland 88 Comet. I'm hoping and praying that they might throw it in as an Easter egg, because it looks like they've revamped all the other aircraft from Flight Sim 10. So I'm kind of hoping, hoping they'll, you know, at least in a wish list, if anyone of, you know, of import is out there listening, please tell me you've got the de Havilland Comet. Let's face it, anyone who doesn't think it's one of the most beautiful aircraft to have ever flown around this planet, if you can't agree with me, you cannot be my friend. The DH-88 is, like a lot of de Havilland designs, it verges on art. It's such a glorious design. And you know, it flew in a lot of the famous races, the famous Grosvenor House and the McRobertson race from, I think it was Croydon to Darwin. So, you know, it lived up to its name. It was pretty blinking fast, but just a lovely work of art. So I'm hoping that's that kind of gets thrown into the mix for the 40th anniversary. I know I'm hoping against hope, but you know, what we do up here is fantasy land anyway. I'll bring this sucker down for a landing. Do I recommend this? Well, you don't come hit to my videos for recommendations. You just don't. You'd be a buffoon to do as much. But if you do, yeah, without hesitation, it's worth the moniker of local legend. It is, you know, here are flights, here are a Sobo or Carinado. If you really want to lay down the gauntlet for this stuff, if you really want to do it, the Junkers, the definitive Junkers, then you know what I'm talking about. That's right, the 287. Ah, you thought I was going to say the Junkers, didn't you? You know the Stuka, Ju-87, but I'm not. I'm saying the 287, the weird forward swept wing jet that they made a couple of prototypes of before the end of the war. That's right, a jet bomber with forward swept wings. Very cool. Look up, Ju-87, Ju-287. Very cool. Alright, let's bring her in for a landing. I'll shut up. I am in love. I am a very happy little flight simmer this day. This is neat. This is neat. Okay, so we'll bring her back down along the Elbe. Hopefully we won't hit the cow lines or shipping. And the Elbe, of course, was a famous river along which the Allies and the Russians agreed to meet and not cross during the Second World War. And here we are. As you can see, it's got quite a bit of pace, you know, so I know it's only kph, but for an aircraft built at the arse end of World War I, it's really impressive. I imagine these are actually marinas, but they look like sea breaks, you know, sea walls of stone. A little bit incongruous, but you know, again, who am I to judge, peeps? By golly. So let's just bring her in and see if I can bring her down with grace and elegance befitting this grand old beastie. You know what? I'll take it. Let's have a look. Yeah, I don't want to do that. There you go, kiddies. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are watching this and you are on the fence, you got flying around, you can make up your own mind. My personal opinion is that besides the weird and wacky water waves on the shoreline, my personal opinion of this is grab it. Just grab it at 22 bucks Oz. Maybe what's 13, 14 bucks US, about the same in euros. I think it's not just a curio, but a really cleverly crafted little beastie. It gets along at a good clip. Not necessarily one, as I said at the outset, a sightseer because of that, the restriction there. Gosh, how uncomfortable would these suckers have been? No wonder they rugged up as if they were, you know, like Inuit Inuit Indians. But yeah, that's cool. That's cool. That is cool. Yeah, go out and grab it. I think, without hesitation, I think it is pretty darn impressive. Yeah, I'm going to get to know this critter well. I say that about most of the aircraft I fly, don't I? Hence I'm the flying wire. What do you got up here? Looks like an old theodolite racing of some kind. What do I know of such things? Alright, big beautiful world, stay safe, stay sane, and keep on simming, baby. Bye.